Wow, it's a very special moment for me. It's thank you, the Lawrence Salomon, such kind of introduction. And it's great honor for me to back Paris and also share some work, in the last many years. And also I would like to share what is the idea or thinking behind. My lecture today is architecture of nature. Is more. I'm going to focus maybe few my recent work to represent my design philosophy, but I also would like to find some the the material, the image or to showing how my philosophy get translated into the different tectonic terrain. This the exhibition is discovered a more new generation of Chinese architects to try very hard to find a new way to approach contemporary architecture, with the cultural and the material tradition of China. Their design not only contemporary, but also, strongly, deeply rooted into the traditional of Chinese cultural background. But why doesn't traditional Chinese cultural background so meaningful for the Chinese contemporary architecture? So once we look at the history or tradition in China, probably, like Chinese art, Chinese painting is played a significant role for the overall history. Some people said Chinese culture is a culture of art. Maybe through this painting called Mountain After Rain was such poetic name, go back, the Yuan dynasty, which is almost 1,000, the years ago. And through this painting, we can understand what is Chinese culture or tradition background. First of all, this painting is showing the nature attitude. If you look at the whole painting, right, dominated by nature, but artificial things is very small, hiding inside nature, this landscape. If you carefully look at this river, you also can find out some people, farming, working here. So in general, this have sense about, what is artificial, what is nature. The second is talking about experience, and this painting is not represent specific nature. Chinese artists never sit down from the mountain to draw, to try to copy the nature. They would like to traveling inside of nature like many months. Once they come back his little home, he used the ink brush quickly to draw. They not try to, copy, but they try to represent, try to present their mode, more emphasize the experience. This is maybe more associated like architecture. Those mountains, you never tell the specific where it is, but you can get, the abstract sense. Last point, I feel is very important. I summarize this painting is called incomplete integrity. Means this painting is not trying to finish everything very specifically. This leaves a lot of blank. You can see the foggy after rain. But I feel this painting played very important, gave the people to the room to understanding, right? In other words, this painting going to be welcome everybody or viewer. Even today, when we look at this painting, you can probably engage, participate this creation I think this is make this painting timeless. That architecture, I think, in complete integrity going to be so important. Things we're talking about, right? The activity program, how you use is rather than just like object or monumental approach. This is my sketch. I even think about what is the nature of architecture. You know, under today, you know, one way is globalization, right? Is to make the whole world more flat, right? Like Lian's work, Alexander's work talking about a new, you know, critical regionalism. I think this is you know, one way. Another way, like technology, digital, AI, you know, everything is make this world become to the, you know, somehow we lost the sense, or we have to rethink about what is nature of architecture. You know, architecture, where do they come from? They build in the, you know, build for the human being, right? And also build into the nature. So once we tracing back history, and then we're going to you know, more clarify, or we make, you know, more clear about what is architecture supposed to be. So I think under this the challenge, you know, like globalization or technology, digital, we need to rethinking. We have to go back the, you know, orange, you know, orange of the architecture. You know, right? How they, you know, why they exist, how they come from. I just feel not only for the architecture profession or architect, even the education, I feel we're getting sort of lost, right? Somehow to driving beyond. So maybe through my work can be talking about what is my philosophy. This is early last year. I made a show in Ada, the name called Architecture Nature. And I think architecture nature is not talking about landscape. Actually, it's explore the origin of architecture. And we have, you know, dual paths of architecture nature called rootedness and creativity. You know, one way we need somehow to dig into the culture or soil. Another way, we have to somehow to create the new things. The rootedness not only require comprehending the past nature of past thing, but more importantly, they require discovering the contemporary nature of the past thing. Maybe like Heidegger's view, the history is not a start point of the today, cannot escape. It's not just the past arrow, but it is essence is still hidden in today's world. So I believe architecture work, you know, if architecture work do not have the rootedness of a historical continence, it is equivalent to have no vacuum in the universe and unable to be creative. You know, once we think about creative, you have to think about what is the fundamental things. You know, we have to really rethink about complexity, symbolicity. You know, what is architecture means. Through this thinking, I have my architecture nature like 5 point. I also have point. Ceiling poster, structure and form, sponge architecture, cave and nest in complete integrity. Like ceiling poster, not only the symbol orientation, they're more talking about you know, nature, people's activity, and so on. I also, you know, today we feel architecture start to lose the material and the structure the idea, and we start to making, I just feel less tension. Sponge architecture is also not only talking about porosity, but talking about more program, how people use, or architecture, how you provide the contents, cave and nest, very old prototype from the early human construction, but actually if you base on today's sustainable the vision, I think a cave nest always played important, the sustainable, very intelligent, not for the architecture, in complete integrity as well. So I think maybe for the, I just maybe use one or two projects to give a little bit what is how when I work on the project, how I can, to bring those idea, architecture of nature idea into the world. So this is a Imperial Cube Museum, which is like a porcelain museum. So this is a location. The Jingdezhen used to be porcelain capital in the world, back to the Ming and the Qing dynasty. They export a lot of porcelain into the Europe. Even today we went to the Louvre or almost everywhere, Victoria or British Museum. You saw a lot of porcelain actually from this city. The city used to be this is the boundary. This is the Ming dynasty, Yuan dynasty, Song dynasty. The whole city developed from the south to north along the river. In the beginning, it's like that. A lot of people come to Jingdezhen. It's just making the break a kiln, produce porcelain. This is their whole the kind of life because of Summer River. Right, this is their typical from earlier, even the Tang dynasty, Song dynasty, or Yuan or Qing dynasty. Probably everybody saw this. The city, small alley. This is not only the efficient for the construction, but also its climate, the reflecting things of Jingdezhen is so hard, so humid. They have to survive under the shadow and the rain. This is a house, vertical. Small alley bring people into the here. This is their main break kiln. Thinks this is their life, right? Build this kiln, workshop, housing, especially like this place. And like winter snowing here. Even the school, small kids, elementary school come to here, take the heat. Advantage of heat actually is kind of warm. Even the break warm, they put in the school bag. So like this kiln place became to their social meeting, communication. This became to the soul of the city. And they still keep this tradition, some part. When I work on this design, I certainly, discover how the craftsman to rebuild this brick kiln. You can through this construction. This is a basement, never demolished, but above this they have to demolish once a year. Things they have to keep the thermal things break going after they burning many times. They lose the thermal character, so you can see the bottom right. So this is the video I took. Actually, it's collected by MoMA now. I just select part of how they built. You can see they use finger to create such complicated double curving the shell, right? This vault is not like an arch. So you can see their finger, the inch by inch, they change the video. So they convert complicated double curving form into the single curvature. I think this is more like today's when we work on complicated form architecture. We have to cutting through, transform the complexity way into the simple curve. So I think this is a lot of inspiration. Now the tradition local, this is like their things. The brick kiln has to be demolished very frequently, and then like those glazed, like a small brick, piece by piece, they mix with new brick. They build their housing. Whole city is just built on this tradition. This is our side. The beyond is the imperial kiln factory. I mentioned Ming and Qing dynasty. This place used to be the fire station, and then relocate outside. We can see so complicated urban, texture, fabric. You can see this Ming Qing dynasty housing. You can see the social housing and so on. Beyond, you're going to see the big river. So what is, maybe if I try to simplify my idea, is one is I try to transform their kiln, the brick kiln into the maybe contemporary space to work with, this museum. Since this museum going to be built, specifically content the porcelain produced from the imperial kiln. This is more like a archaeology museum. So I think about, if I think about where's the porcelain came from, maybe they just from the brick kiln, like this vault, never too big, never too small. So this is the reason I want to, transform. This is one way. Another one is based on today, how we can make architecture more intelligent or smart. I feel this linear vault can be converted into the very natural, the wind tunnel. Things local is so hard. And also, that's also when we're talking about the ceiling poster, how I can orientate this architecture. You have to know the wind, summers, the wind, how to come from. I think this is you feel very old thinking, right? The root is very old, like historical continents. But architecture became to the contemporary one. If you look at it, this is or conceptual one, you can see each is a different curvature, different size. It's so complicated in another way, but we discovered a simple construction approach to making this architecture more system, right? This is like our process showing I'm not allow my team to use a 3D print to making the model through the conceptual. I know the construction is by hand, right? But you cannot design way through the digital. I feel this is the gap must be happen. This is the reason I found out a lot of the architecture, falling apart or failed because they use 3D print making everything, but until the construction, they have a disconnect. So if you look at this is why so complicated this form curvature, right? But you can see this horizontal cut. This is like a handmade model. So that's showing the system. Means even this very complicated form, but we still use a very simple way, like the craftsman making the brick kiln, right? It's a layer, million layers of brick. So I think this is the way. And in general, this program, thinks the people going to be from the archaeology side through the bridge into the foyer. This is a major the front, and then the permanent exhibition going from inside past the connect and then go to semi-outdoor. inside again, and then they go down to connect back to here. This is like a permanent exhibition. We also have a temporary exhibition. Go to here, they go down, and then this is a temporary exhibition. They also have the one door. They can be part of the permanent. From the front side, we have a tea house. This is semi-outdoor. This this is a lecture hall. This is a bookstore, and so on. And this is the office entrance. It's a little bit way back. This is a loading deck. Small truck can back into this vault. So this is a kind of a very complicated program in the restrict the urban side, but we eventually we did everything work out. This is after construction we discovered the Ming Dynasty ruin, and then we readjust whole design to integrate this archaeology side in our design. We just keep doing, we even today we still use handmade model. For me, my studio always come out my thinking either sketch or paper model. It's not 3D, but we continue to use the computer, but at the same moment, we also rely on the physical model. This is in general. You can see the in general set plan. It's construction, and collect all the brick. You can see a lot of brick is glaze, and then we have a construction style. But this is showing how we transform or how we invent some interesting construction system. For example, this is the form. It's a wood form, so soft. And then this scaffolding is a changeable scaffolding. And then underneath we have one track. So this one can be moved. And then this the mold can be adjustable. First layer going to be laid on based on this mold. And then we put down the steel bar, pour the concrete, and then final masonry for the brick. So this is in general. So maybe you can see the side and beyond. This is a whole showing the podium sister, cave and nest, how we, incomplete integrity, right? You can see this is zigzag. The building became to the fragment form rather than big chunk, the object or landmark. So I feel this building is strongly represent my 5 point. It's also talking about rootedness and how you invent new things. So this is maybe, right, this is after build. You can see whole building is somehow to sunken, to close to the earth. I feel architecture is earthwork and roof work. And you can see this is surrounding the hill, and the whole building just peacefully, some water, small reflecting water to organize how people to approach, to close this architecture, also beyond the factory. And this, building also showing the roughness. Sometimes also you can see the roughness and peaceful water with stone, kind of a tension, poetic way. I think architecture has to be create tension. One way is very the old, another way maybe is a surprise or that thing. So this also, once people close up, you see the mixed the masonry wall. You can see the old brick, new brick. This is a lecture hall. You can see here, and this is a tea house. This is the entrance. People pass this little bridge, reflecting the local culture. They like water, since they consider water is fortune, for example. This is like along the public edge, not only have this water, but also it's semi-public. All the program can be independent once museum enclosed, like this lecture hall. They have a separate entrance. This tea house, all have. So this is also showing the tectonic or material proposition. You can see this wall structure, right? Once we cut this horizontal window, and you have to use a big beam to support. So they start showing this idea. This is a tea house part. We have huge cantilever, the concrete beam to also. Once you walk in, you're going to feel the space going to somehow to attach your body. Things, if you make this museum too big, you'll never have this sense of a feeling. In this city, they built another Sarakan museum. I understood, I can see, I criticized that museum built for the aircraft and car, not for the human being and the porcelain. Porcelain only this big, right? They're never too big. So when people making the porcelain, they just under the certain space. You have to create kind of a blood relationship, between the people, porcelain, and their space. I feel this way. Once you walk in, you feel this way. You feel the material spatial space dialogue push your body, making your mind. You can think about you even without this glass case. Everybody feel this must be porcelain space, right? But for this design, I made the whole thing. Not only architecture, furniture here, you saw the glass case, all designed by our team. You can see very transparent, minimum glass case, make a contrast with a break. Right, this is once you go inside, you go to the another space, which is from semi-outdoor, indoor, semi-outdoor, go to the indoor again. And also always change in terms of the curvature, the scale of the gallery space. This is like, I mentioned archaeology, the ruin side, and then we integrate. This way, it is the amphitheater. You can imagine people sitting there to see through the building. Not only you feel the natural wind to touch your body, but at the same moment, you see the people in and out. You see the people go up and down to close to the ruin. And then this is showing somehow people wandering inside the museum. It's more like music. I consider the architecture is more like music. You have to have certain order, just their foundation, and then you make something different. You can see this difference height, difference the scale, difference program, difference light, difference. All things once different, but they based on the same, the break wall. That wall is not okay. We throw out one form, special form. Actually, it's work with the history, right? Their tradition, how you making the person. People go down this stair. Once you go down, you're going to see the light. Just bring the people down in order to make this whole building as much lower. It's lowered as possible. And then courtyard, people also can see the working place, how people to restore the porcelain and fakes, but you see the bamboo, you heard the raining sound, it's beautiful. You can smoke under the cantilever. So this is what I mentioned, the wall. This door going to, if you go there, you're going to connect the temporary, the circulation, but sometimes they separate, sometimes they connect together. And then this is how we can make arrangement about this the glass case. Things people criticize I call the expert criticize me. Okay, we never saw the museum like that. You know, that's going to be no good for the exhibition. But I talked them. You know, most of the museum, a glass case against the wall, but we only can see the maybe one side. But porcelain need 300 degrees. They not only see the one side, they need to turn around. They need to see the bottom. You can see this bottom is transparent from the top, right? They need the natural light. It's not artificial light. But most of our museum, everything rely on the artificial light. But the local expert, when they try to test or, you know, to tell which year this person, they walk to the courtyard. They rely on the natural light. They can tell the porcelain where, you know, when or where they come from. So I feel this is also, you can see that this kind of a fishbone structure, organized people circulation, more like if you, I feel this lower part of a space more like a fish belly. The fishbone work with fish belly. Once again, you know, whole thing, they have to work together. They have to the relationship. This is a courtyard. You see the tea house, people sitting there. You see the, you know, landscape. Actually, we're standing under the roof hand. Behind is a multifunction hall. This is the one courtyard. And then this is the point. When we finish the permanent exhibition, and then you're going to end of one stair. Whole museum never show the stair, whole thing. Just show the one piece. People going to feel wondering what is beyond, and then they're going to try to discover. I feel the architecture has to be to making people's interest, to attract them to one place into another. I think wandering or, you know, moving is the important for the architecture. And then you see the little door, right? And then you're going to discover, oh, another stair, the people found down from here, and then turn the other way. So the half hiding between two brick old. Look at this brick. The people always to touch things they have. This masonry wall is used very old brick. People really hard to tell. People are going to wondering, you know, when this brick, you know, back maybe Ming or Qing Dynasty even earlier, right? This is you back the foyer again till you see the front little space lobby for the lecture hall. Once you open the door, you see the whole, you know, brick wall. This is more like their working condition, and then top with observation hall things. That when they burning the person, they have to rely on the little window through the wood or see the color of the the fire, in order to they can tell, you know, how much degree. And also this lecture hall is not a black box. We also have horizontal car, you know, along the, this is like a water level, the surface level, half down below half. So once you feel boring, like if the lecture boring, you're sitting here, you can see through. You can see through the vertically, horizontally to enjoy the nature. So you feel the space going to one into another one, connect each other. Once you walk to the tea house, you have to, you know, your view blocked by this brick wall. You have to sit down. Once you sit down, you see through this horizontal cut, see beyond the archaeology side. I think archaeology side always talking about underneath, right? Once you sit down, drink the tea, think about, you know, earth underneath, I feel that's going to be making everything in nature, environment, program, people's activity, you know, light, everything they working together. This is also showing, a lot of operation window. They can bring the one in. Some open, the natural light can be quickly to, naturally to concentrate. Yeah. I take a few minutes break. Enjoy. Sometimes architecture, I feel hard. Even I show the slide. Maybe you can now, I don't know, maybe video is better. A lot of the time. So architecture not only art piece, but you know your work has to be really like people to enjoy. So after this museum built, wow, a lot of people. This whole city used to be dead. 2016, I was invited. First time I visit, only senior people inside Old Town, everybody outside. But right now, they right now have to through the boat. You know, a lot of people working here. This is like a winter time, summer time. So I think sometimes architecture have the power, have the can really like people to enjoy. I think this is the personal museum. I'm going to quick talk to another current under construction one. Is Ma Jiayao Ruin Museum and Observatory in Gansu province. This is the Jingdezhen is kind of a tropical. This is a very cold kind of a Louis Plateau area, northwest part of China. So this is the ruin site. Somewhere here was discovered by the Swedish archaeologist John Anderson in 1924. You can see this is their team, and this is he, and also he worked on that. You know, he discovered mainly the earlier civilization in China. I think he made star from him the China's. Later on discover many things. I was surprised. This is in Yale. I taught one studio. They discovered the Yale Museum also collect a lot of Ma Jiayao, this kind of the pottery. This is back New Stone Age, and it's very early, civilization along the Yellow River. So look at this pottery color, right? If you look at their soil, yellow soil, they come from, this is reason I feel, everything, they must have a root. Everything have the reason, even like our today's people, right? Human being, we still carry out, your parents even before, the human beings, the DNA. I feel everything because of the nature, because of geography. This is local. The mountain is beyond, but it's more like a flat Louis Plateau, and the yellow clay, a lot of the early house like a cave. People carve out things. The clay is so easier, right? It's soft, not like Jingdezhen, it's rock, water. Here is less water, but beyond have big river. This is my earlier sketch. This is a correspondent. This is we're going to do in two projects. This is a cutting the section. This is a canyon beyond mountain. This is we call the plateau, the horizontal. This is observatory, and then this museum, this ruin. You can see this is an observatory, museum, ruin, and then one canyon bring the water, go beyond. They have a big river called Tao River. So you can see all, local have the white land, and then they have the Plateau River just perpendicular, go this way. It's quite interesting. And then when Jonathan, he's standing this plateau front side, this is they realize, thinks this is north, how people choose location for the settlement. I think quite intelligent. This is facing south, big against plateau. But they not too low because of flooding, right? But not too high, far away from the water. I think this is what I'm talking about. Ceiling posters so important for the sustainable, thinking for the architecture. Not just we build everything, everywhere in the same poster. So this is our drawing, cutting through. This is our model museum. and then observatory on the top. So observatory, I just a very simple cut, a very permanent way to horizontal cut, hiding inside this plateau. Just one cut. And then maybe feel some little hut to represent this civilization, but most of the things going to hiding this plot. Construction is even more challenged and quite critical. In order to protect this weak, the soil boundary, right, we designed the construction only dig a hole in the center and then carve out tunnel to the, like a boundary in order to keep the landscape. You can see this is or the people come to here and then view three sides, see the beyond landscape, water, and the ruin side. So this is a very challenge for the construction way. You can see the scale of the model. We rely on the model. So we keep doing big things. And, but this is a museum. Museum just, I'm thinking about a cave and a nest. You can see this is the big cave, big shell, block the northwest wind local. So much wind, but the like a piece of pottery. And also I'm thinking about, you can see this is our model, right? This is more like a more translucent slide can go inside. But this is like a cave, like a huge piece of pottery. Things, if I think about compare the porcelain and the pottery, pottery must came from through the nature, not artificial. Porcelain have to artificial. You have to make a 1,300 degree the heat, right? But pottery, I'm thinking about in the yellow, the clay after thunderstorm, maybe the fire, second day, people going to feel the soil is going to hard, frozen. I believe this is the where pottery come from. So when I think about this way, I have to really make this, the building somehow sunken into the earth. Actually, earth this high. And then beyond, this bridge going to bring people into the ruin. But this whole building just like, push into the earth. And this is facing west and the north, southeast. So you can see the poster. You can see the structure and the form. You can see the cave and the nest. You also feel, many things is work with the people. And the whole building just rely on the one run. The one run walks through, from this way, from here, go all the way concentrate. You can see this go inside. No stair, definitely we do, but for the emergency elevator, for the handicap. But in general, public just walking on the ramp. And you also feel ceiling not like most of the museum, very tall. Actually, pottery even smaller than the porcelain. So you don't need to go standard idea for the, if we're talking about museum, must be 5 clear hand. No, actually this is not. And this section, you can see, this is showing the idea for this design. The cave, also this cave is double shell to create a kind of space. This is a local, if you go northwest part of China, you saw a lot of, like Dunhuang, right? You see the lot of cave, under here. So people going to concentrate, you can see whole bring people to the ruin side. So construction, this is you can see this is we never use digital, right? Even for the big scale architecture. I never heard. And this moment, But if you think about, if we have very strong technology, use technology to build architecture, no mistake. Why porcelain is so important, right? Because they're not making by machine. They have mistake. They piece of art. They have surprised. But if we're making old architecture through the technology, I feel this is no longer art anymore. I feel in the future, even in the future, the human being's creativity or imagination became so important for the architecture. So this is the construction side. We have you can see this is not not natural light. The shell going to beyond the other way. You can see the texture, roughness, and then landscape. How we protect this landscape. You can see this is beyond the plateau. This have many the local material, concrete things local. They have taohe. They produce interesting sands and pebble. We somehow to integrate together. I think this is a packaging again. Another tropical the setting. This is not a single architecture. This is called the conference, international conference center. But in the beginning, I convinced the leadership to convert a big chunk conference into the fragment, like a settlement, like local village. If you go to Jiangxi and you're going to see the lot of village along with the valley, how we can. So this is like a valley, how we make this, the building to work with this, integrate. So you can see this is my earlier sketch, to convert big chunk into the multi-piece, the big size, middle size conference, little hotel, restaurant, and so on. We just try to less impact the site. But another idea is the structural and the form. You can see this is a whole building base, just one structure. The two shear walls support the roof above. And then so complicated side, but we just build one higher along with the side. You have the flexibility. But if you think about if making the huge big scale building, you have to demolish the site. And so this is the idea how we work with, this angle, just one structure. That's very simple. But they create a very complex complexity, the experience. You can see this is almost just one structure repeat, but they create very diversified angle this way, also arch that way. This is the wall support. This is a shade wall, but this is for the shading. How work with sun and shadow and so on. You can see this is beyond the small hotel, and then this is small conference in front. This is a middle-sized conference. Things local were humid, right? As people, lot of rain, people have to stay under the roof. I think this is a the space became to the key for the local building. We have to really deal with this climate to let people, feel comfortable. You're not just black and white, the interior, exterior. You have so many things. You're under the shadow, protect from the rain. So you can see this structure, right? It's even the big structure, just very simple, rough, the way to create, a lot of overhand. The meeting can be outside, not only inside. This is always have a foyer beyond the people climbing up, and or go into the the room. Even this top is we have to protect from the roof. So light concentrate, but rain never get in. This is a foyer. This is the biggest conference room. We can see the, not black box, natural light. But definitely we have a sliding shutter to control the folding panel to enclose. But this is like a mid-size. You can see so close to the edge of the mountain in order to, we just carefully and make the right size, right construction way to less impact. So you can see so close to the nature, you can walk out. And then this, through the tectonic way, you can see just the shear wall and the roof and the concrete slab. This is showing somehow like a settlement. Once again, in north part of China, this is a test how concrete, the roof, reinforced concrete, how they, not only like the arch, but also they can be the tent. Local, they have their wood roof, but all the wall housing made by this stone. And this very simple, the idea, just like a pinwheel organization, like a central courtyard surrounding with some room. This is an art center. You can see this concrete roof. It's showing the tension, right? How reinforced concrete can also have the tension to these, surrounding with the courtyard. You can see this is inside. The rough stone wall, also clean white wall, the skylight, the concrete, the tent roof. The beyond is the central courtyard. This is like more the multifunction. You can see this is like you can feel the structure, material, sunken courtyards working with light, and always have overhand people can walking around, and then they also have. You can see this is a roof, this is a wall. The window is the door. Door is the window. People sitting here, and even that little the door people can hang on here, have coffee and so on. You can see this the beyond roof how they the working with. Another one is our the project in Yunnan province, and this is like a southwest part of the China surrounding with huge mountain. This mountain is like 4,000 meters tall, and local called their lake called the ocean. Thinks this is a minority people. I was invited to design for the performance art center for Chinese the performance dancer. She is great. She spent the whole life try to rediscover the local dancing, and he make her whole life use her whole money to try to build something to revival local. This is like Dali, and I remember Alexandra had been here.
Oh yes.
Right, we had meeting together, right? And so this is like an old town somewhere here, or the performance center somewhere is beyond. Yeah, you can see this is a farm mountain. This is like the yin yang, more like a yin yang idea and the cave and the nest idea. The whole program just supposed just the black box. And then I proposed maybe one amphitheater, and then this is yin, this is yang, above yang, underneath the yin. All the like rehearsal, the program somehow push into the earth. So keep this horizontal to balance the, kind of a natural setting surrounding. Since local, the building never built straight. They have a very rough, relaxed way. But I feel only one horizon line can control this building. So you can see this is like the vertical way, horizontal way, under the earth, above the roof, everything played shadow, sun, the sun and yin yang. So you can see this is or the final design is I remember I also worked with Daxino, French the theater consultant. We come out how we work out this play. Her play, I encourage her, it's not only stay inside, but also start from outside the roof, go in and then go out. So it's it's not a formal performance. And you can see this is underneath the roof. And this is showing, definitely we have a program underneath. This is an amphitheater, this is theater, and then sliding door can be open. They can join the big performance. So you can see rehearsal, small lobby. People can see the artist play here, right? This is you can see the mountain, right? The old town somewhere here. This is the huge the mountain surrounding this peaceful area. Local people always singing in the farmer, dancing, whatever on the boat. They quite organic way. The whole building is played, relax. Even bring the bird inside. You can see this is also the tea house and cafe above. The people surround, walking around the roof to see beyond the mountain and the water. This one, right? Maybe this is the last one. And I think last time the Solomon, you also mentioned this project to me, right? So today I represent, this is a cultural center where we was invited to design Anhui province. Anhui is a sort of they have their very special. The housing is a vertical courtyard house. This is an old town. This town almost 1,500 years old. You can see the moat, and then this is a town. It's very old. People in and out through the field bridge. And this is back to Han Dynasty. This is like a new developed area, surrounding by the very, I don't know, it's hard to see, a very generic housing, garment building, very boring, no character, so we have to build something in here. So this enclosed, and then just maybe the idea. We have to create somehow, you can see this so boring, right? Garment building, and then this house, social housing. You heard a lot of the air conditioning noise. When I was in this side, I feel so boring and really hard to breathe. So I'm thinking about maybe this is a much more inward. But the inspiration from here, from their old town, enclosed wall, local housing, even Jiangxi province or kind of a Hui housing. This is their central courtyard. Their opening very small, but they have big roof. The roof like four sides, the downward into the courtyard. Water also collect through this special roof. Solid wall, very enclosed, solid facade, interior courtyard vertically, small alley to bring people into the different room. And this is my early sketch. And then this is our final idea. You can see basically courtyard to work with, each program. And the same moment, I create the public loop to run through all the, connect all the program. But without interrupt inside the program. The program, we have like library, museum, also cultural center, archive building, and we have 5 programs. 5 programs distribute, work with the few courtyard. So you can see this is more like a void. And this courtyard, this is how we can develop or compose or the idea. You can see this is the 4 side. The inward reflecting the local, solid, small window, local, bring the, public small loop. Also quite local, but very contemporary way to recompose, regenerate together. And then people going to feel very public. It's not just to go library and then you can see this is a very complicated way, but you can see the interior program, how a courtyard, and then we also have this semi-public corridor. And this is how people walk into this building through here, right? More like their old town. And once you go in, you're going to feel this way. Feel, okay, old Shou County, the old town, small window open to dialogue with surrounding. The central, close to the central courtyard. More like their, local people use their central courtyard, more like a living room. I think this is we call the gathering public place for the people. You can see even this beyond this, we have stair, we have other programs. So the people, once you come in, you're going to, climbing up, go all the way through, almost you can go everywhere without interrupt inside the program. Even you have nothing to do, you can hang on here, also protect from the roof, or also shade, kind of a very linear way. This is the people climbing up to the level 2, but you have the roof overhand. And then this is beyond the, once you get in, you see the pantry and also how people crossing. This is in the middle of a level. This is not in the exact level. Somehow in between, you can see people come out from here and then they go there. So in general, the public loop, you can see they come different level, but they wandering inside the big building, with the courtyard house. Yeah, this is we have a grand hall, we have front, the living room, we also back garden. This is also their culture. They have a small backyard always for the more private. Definitely this is a more quiet way. And you can see this is beyond, this window beyond is 100 of the stair. They're showing how stair go up and then go up again to reflecting the behind. This is a 3rd level. You can see this kind of very rough concrete work with a different level. People can standing under this terrace to see the beyond. You can see so many levels and very rich the experience people inside. Oh, we have one more very quickly. This is in Beijing. This is my earlier the project back 2000. Oh, this automatic play is go ahead. This is Beijing, and this is back 2005. But that's showing how my thinking influenced by the regional, the critical regional. You know, this is the big, the very old courtyard house, right? But the idea is how I can create a kind of a new, very critical way to make abstract geometry to replace the existing the building. We demolished this piece, and then the rest are going to be frozen. But we still, you know, make a connection. The transition, this is like a root. We ignored this pitch roof, actually Beijing called whole, you know, like a Chinese architecture based on the cubic. If you think about this way, like Forbidden City, courtyard house, like Huizhou, everything simple. I think they must have some reason behind. So we try to discover this root, and you can see this is existing, but things not safe. We demolish, but we keep the same profile to dialogue, catch up the old housing landscape. But this wall can be sliding. This is for the artist, the studio. So they most of the time they like this. They enjoy, you know, the old one, but sometimes they also enclose the roof. Little have small piece of terrace. You can see beyond Forbidden City. And the first room I consider more like a Chinese painting, black white, ink painting. You can see this is almost like two-dimensional, right? It's colored, it's very clean, keep the, you know, existing condition. Another room more like a three-dimensional exposure the structure. You can see this is structure, very the rough construction. We have to really cut, you know, to reinstall. This is how we make construction, but we also create, you know, shutter. This is their boundary wall, like showing the, you know, concrete, how we working with the brick and so on. This is frozen, right? Not try to reprint, refinish. Everything stay to catch up the, you know, once I walk in, what's my, you know, memory or impression about this courtyard? Definitely I grow up from Beijing courtyard. I know, you know, how they work, how people living, you know, why this size. You know, everything play with the nature, sun, winter, wind, how, you know, how this courtyard house is organized. So I feel when I work on this, I deeply understood the philosophy for the house. So when this house after built, I feel perfectly, not much, not less. You know, even like this shadow beautifully, and how they're making the break. So everything, even this, you know, artists try to get rid of this to make a new door. I said, you're going to lose the volume of the house. So I insist, okay, trust me, let them stay. You can see this is when I first time walk into like that. So everything installed. This is like a new house. And then along the time, they changing, right? The people work with this house. And this is like most of my memory. So I think I use a little bit more time, but I just try to clarify. I'm not trying to show my, you know, how much work I work on. No, but I just feel under the challenge I mentioned, globalization make everything fly. The digital technology gave us a lot of pressure. Even our school, not only our school, almost all the school facing the struggling, you know, what is the future for the architecture. And I remember just last month I gave the speech in the Venice. I talking about, and actually architecture is art. We have to understand. We have the, you know, power, hope, you know, to how we work with digital. I think this is not against each other, more like a double helix, right? It's they reinforce each other, not try to, okay, the technology, no, I'm not. But actually we use a lot of technology. But at the same moment, you have to somehow to find your, the root or your orange, you know, how you can to learn, discover the contemporary things in the history, in the past. It's not to try to against each other. I also feel good artwork, good poetry, good writing. You know, if you try to discover what's amazing, all they share the one thing. They have very old the things. They like people understood. For example, we understood we can dialogue like a novel or like a poetry. They not play the weird things. They have to let people sort of understood. And then once people engage, you're also providing the, you know, the surprise or some differently like this. You feel the old, you also feel the difference. I think this is what I really try to, you know, to share with everybody. Architects, great, you know, the profession and also the architecture is the art. They're going to stay forever. So that's maybe I really want to see. Thank you everybody.